Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dodani's 6 weeks MBA program. And this is our third session. This is going to be really big, as today one of the biggest speaker of Dodani's team, Dodani's world, is here, and I'm really very excited. First of all, I want to introduce my uh, inner circle. We have our inner circle. First of all, Mr. Jasbir Bhatia. He is Chief Executive Officer of Inner Circle of Dodani's World. Mr. Rajesh Agarwal, sir, is the champions builder of Dodani's World and the founder and visionary himself, Mr. Jawahar Dodani. He is the founder and he gave this opportunity so that we are expanding 6 weeks MBA program in India. And now I'm going to directly, without a wastage of time, because I'm very excited and somewhere or the other I'm very nervous because we all know who is the man today here with us. So now I'm going to welcome Mr. Rajesh Agarwal, though he doesn't need any introduction, but yes, just to know, he is one of the most famous, I can say, motivational speaker, business consultant of India. He has been in this, I can say, since 27 years he has been here. He is transforming old mindset and bringing new mindset so that we can work accordingly according to the dynamics of the world. So here I am welcoming Mr. Rajesh Agarwal. Sir, I welcome you here and I request you to take over from here. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Sadam. And this is a wonderful session. I first of all wish everybody good very early morning. I have added very early morning because it is going to be a very early morning. It's a day of excitement and enthusiasm for all of us. We are all delighted, we are all excited. It's a topic of our third session called Dictionary of Winners. We have designed a wonderful course under the guidance of Mr. Jawahar Dodani, and the name of the course is MBA in Real Estate. MBA stands for Maximizing Business Achievement in Real Estate. And this is the third session. Now, the third session is for Dictionary of Winners. The topic of the third session is Dictionary of Winners. I will just give a small glimpse between a general dictionary and the Dictionary of Winners. A general dictionary says either you are a winner or you are a loser. A Dictionary of Winners says either you are a winner or you are a learner. So the Dictionary of Winners never says you are a loser. It always says you are a learner. And I'm also equally excited to meet the person of the day, the very special person whom I wish I could have introduced, but this is the job which Mr. Dodani will do. So I will wait for that moment, great moment. But I have gone through his biography, I have gone through his profile, and this is outstanding. But now is the time for me to bring the person who has seen the vision of Dodani's work. I met this gentleman few months before. I mean, 10th March 2021. And we had a lovely chat, lovely interaction. And then he came out with an idea. Can we design a course for all the real estate entrepreneurs and consultants? And we came out with this beautiful idea called 6-week course, MBA course. MBA means maximizing business achievement, how to become successful in real estate business. And this one is the third session. During the course of our interaction, this course kept on moving level by level, and it kept on improving day by day. And today is the day where we have a special person. Without him, I believe Dictionary of Winners was absolutely incomplete. So let me talk about the gentleman who gave this idea. He is a visionary. He's originally from Ahmedabad, born and brought up in Ahmedabad, but now completely residing in Arizona. He's known as Land Guru. I had not a big idea about real estate, but I learned a lot from him and all those great people who are associated in real estate. Without wasting even for a single second, it's a great honor for me to invite the gentleman who is the star of the show, whom the person I'm introducing will introduce, and all the honorable guests who are present over here. So without wasting any single moment, may I have the privilege with your virtual applause, can I bring in front of you Mr. Jawahar Dodani from Arizona. Jawaharji, welcome in the show.
Thank you, Rajesh ji, for such a great introduction. I love my inner circle, Sadaf Khan, Jasbir Singh, Rajesh Agarwal. You will hear a little bit more later. And I love my team who's here today. Each and every one who is here today is a great person by themselves, and you will know about it in a few minutes. But I am so excited. Like Sadaf said, I'm kind of nervous, not nervous, I don't know. But this is a big event for me. This is a big opportunity for me to first time I have talked to Glenn, I have met Glenn, I have known Glenn for years. I know how wonderful person he is, but this is the first great opportunity to kind of interview Glenn. That is a crazy, crazy opportunity for me. And okay, I've known Glenn since 2013. I met Glenn face to face. I was going to look up the numbers of agents at that time. I think it was a few hundred agents. I am not exactly the number. But I met with him face to face in Arizona. And guys, at that time, we had talked about taking EXP to India. And you know who failed? He gave me an opportunity. He gave me an opportunity in writing. Guess who failed? I failed. Okay? I could not perform. There were many reasons, but I could not perform. Not only I could not perform when I had the opportunity. So when I met with them, I got this opportunity. I said I have to do something. But you know, it was after my downfall. I did not have resources, and I had a desire, but I couldn't perform. I came back. If there was an icon agent at that time, I had kept even in that year in 2013. But my biggest mistake of my life was to quit EXP at that time. And I think looking back, yes, I never look back because I always look forward. But looking back, if I would have stayed in EXP at that time and the way I was performing every year, I would have had stock like crazy at in cents. I would have bought stock in less than $1. And you all know what the stock has done to us, okay? It went up as high as 150, then it split, and then now it's 45.50. I'm happy. And so I quit in 2013. Then came 2019. One young boy, one young kid, one young agent I knew, he said, an Indian guy, and I met him in a function. He said, Joe, come on, I'm in EXP. You should look into EXP. It's great. I said, I was laughing at him. I said, okay, I want to try it. But I went back to my original person who had recruited me. I looked into again. I looked at that time when I joined in 2019. I think it was 10, 15, 20,000. I should have looked at all these numbers. I have not. But it was around that number. I said, we were only a few hundred of people. And now we are this. And then I looked at the stock. And then I looked at the other things EXP Holdings have done. I said, it'll be crazy enough not to join. And I have joined again in April of 2019. And since that, every year I've been an icon agent. Then in 2019, I had a fortunate to go to Las Vegas, EXPCon, and we have got another EXPCon coming in a month. I am so excited to be there with Glenn. So I was there, and it was so much fun, so much fun. You don't even all know it. There will be a chance. I know there's COVID, so some of you would have been here right now, but we will definitely do it. And maybe we'll do some event in India one of these days when Glenn will visit India. You know, we'll bring him to India. We'll do a big event in India. So I went to EXPCon, and you will not believe the person Glenn is. I went and met with him. Everybody loved him. Everybody. You know why? I think the biggest thing is not how much success he has, not how much what he has done with EXP. Those are great. But the biggest thing I personally see it is how humble Glenn is. When you meet with him, you see today, he's here today with us. This is amazing for us. You will see it, how humble he is. Now, I just got Glenn, and I'm going to talk to you about a couple of more minutes. I just got this magazine today, few days ago. And I was reading your, you are the founder, president of the, we own this thing. Yes, we hold it. I say we because I can say we, because we agents own this thing. And so I was reading Glenn's article here, and it's right here. And I highlighted some of the words. And some of these words I didn't tell Glenn about these words, but you will see some of these words we're going to talk about it today. And these are the words, why these are words are critical, important. I really love it. You all should, I don't know if we get this in India or not yet, this magazine. I think we need to do an Indian version or something, but we need to, it's a wonderful, wonderful magazine. So what Glenn has done is, he was very successful with Keller Williams. When he was an agent, when he was a team leader, he was, my goodness, I know about it. But then when the market crashed, when we saw that future of offices, future of brokers with all these overheads is going to go down. He saw that in 2009. He saw that vision in 2009. So what he did, he said, I need to do something. He met with few of his friends who were in the team and everything and started. He was an IT guy. He knew technology. So he said, I need to use this technology and do something about it. Okay. And he started this eXp Realty. Okay. We started, I don't know how many agents you started, Glenn, maybe few agents. I know few of them. I know Brian, but there were few of agents you started. And then he has grown and grown and grown and grown. Right now, I think he had around 66,000. Only in November last year, when they launched India, 5 countries in 3 months, guess what? We were only 30,000 or even less than 30,000 agents then. Now we are 66,000 agents. Come on. There has to be something, right? There is something going right. The stock market is up, not just because of the experience. I think it's because of Glenn's vision. I've listened to some, Motley. There is a Motley, what is it called? I just heard your interview on Motley. Motley Fool. And they are the people who analyze stocks. And they were interviewing Glenn. And I listened to that interview, the entire interview. I think it's not just eXp Realty. What Glenn's vision is, eXp World Holdings, what to do with it. Now, we got Verbella, technology. I think now there are some other people doing it, but we were the first. Then with the Success magazine, it is amazing. It's a 100-year plus old magazine. Then we got Showcase. I don't think Showcase is launched in India yet, but it's an amazing. We have the KV Core CRM. I think what Glenn is trying to do is, do not all the things which can make eXp Realty successful, he's bringing in under eXp World Holdings. So without further ado, I want to bring Glenn for a few minutes before we start our question and answer. Glenn, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you, Joe, and thank you everyone for getting up so early in the morning or staying up really late, one of the two. So it's an honor to be here. And yeah, we were back in 2013, we were less than 300 agents. And when we started in 2009, we started with about 25 agents, and those were agents that were on my real estate team. And we saw that, there were certain challenges with scaling a real estate team, and then the housing market in the US especially had cratered. And so I couldn't afford physical offices, but I'd come out of technology. So it just made sense to use high-speed internet, which had now got pretty ubiquitous in the United States at that point, to actually duplicate the benefits of a physical office. And so we were the first company that I'm aware of that of any size that used a virtual world for business as their exclusive office. So we did that in 2009. And now, of course, we own the biggest virtual world for business platform in the world, and that's Verbella, and it's being used all over the world. Lots of companies that are using it. Lots of events, especially with COVID. It's been, there's been a lot of adoption of that technology. But first and foremost, I'm a real estate agent or a salesperson at heart who happens to be in real estate. And then even more fundamental to that, I'm somebody who pursues at a pretty high level just the concepts of success and personal development, and just how to become a better version of myself at any given time. Because it's really you were talking about the dictionary of winners earlier, and there's a you can think about it as very binary. You can think about it as winners or losers, or you could think about it as a continuum. No matter where you're at on the continuum, there's more opportunities to win at. And so it doesn't really matter where you start, because there's always room to grow toward the winner column. And you could always choose to coast and go the other way if you want to, but for the most part, that's kind of not a really exciting place to go. So why not focus on leveling up and adding value to people's lives and winning through really, I think about that is all about winning through helping others achieve more.
Glenn, this video is the 6 weeks MBA class, which is every week on Tuesday. So this video will be played on coming Tuesday. And there are I thought I'll have 25, 50 agents sign up to do the 6 weeks MBA. This was our first time launching it. We have over 350 people join, EXP agents and non-EXP agents. The best part is this non-EXP agents who have joined, now we have a great opportunity to recruit them in EXP. And so it's a great. So without further ado, I'm going to start with our program today about Dictionary of Winners. The first, thing is, I always believe that, if you are not a dreamer, if you do not have a dream, I think you're missing out in life. I'm not saying just dream about money. I'm not saying just dream about relationship. I'm just not saying dream about spirituality, whatever it is. So I'm going to ask Glenn, I'm going to read this quote it's from Eleanor Roosevelt. The future belongs to those who believe the beauty of their dreams. So in your career, I was reading some of your articles that when you were a kid, you were trying to run or do something in hiking. I cannot pronounce properly, but you failed quite a few times. And I'm sure you had some dream to become somebody. And that's why you were able to face it. Tell us a little bit about your dream, about your EXP Realty, EXP World Holdings. What are your dreams?
I believe, personally, I think that everyone needs something bigger than themselves to work on. I think that, if we work on our own selfish, ambitions, we tend to not, one, achieve as much, but partially because a lot of other people also see that it's more selfish as opposed to selfless. And so they're not willing to sort of lend their efforts to what that is. And so, for EXP, the idea was to build a real estate brokerage that would solve a lot of the pain points that I had as a real estate professional. And so I know many of you are, EXP agents or attached to EXP in some capacity. And if you've been a real estate agent, one of the things that you realize is that as much as you might call it a business, the business in most cases owns you, the real estate professional. You don't own a business. And what I mean by that is that if you're not able to go out and list and sell property, your business doesn't produce any revenue. It doesn't put a roof over your head, doesn't pay the bills. And so if, something happens to you, something happens to a loved one where you need to sort of take care of them, there's all kinds of different scenarios where you're out of the game of actually listing and selling real estate. That really kind of defines more of a job. So most of us are real estate agents that think that we own a business, but we really have a job. But if we can actually retool the business, we can actually have a business that we own that can actually build long-term benefits, just like a real business owner would have. And so I just recognize, for me as an agent, that I didn't own a business. I went and did all the things that my sales manager said to do. I went and did all the things that was recommended by the gurus that were on stage, the folks that were saying, this is how you do it, start a real estate team. And what you realize is that real estate teams have some ceilings to them in terms of your ability to manage people and go and sell and train and provide the leadership. And then the next thing would be to start a real estate brokerage. And they call, at least, in the US, they call them brokerages. And that's usually because the broker is actually broker than he was before he started his business. And so, there's a fundamental fallacy in being a broker. Now, you might have a little bit more control of your time, which has some value because now you actually run a business. But a lot of times it's still somewhat limited because of just the normal business constraints that exist. And so as we looked at the real estate brokerage industry, we looked at, the fastest growing real estate company up until EXP came along was a company called Keller Williams. And I don't know if they're in India, but they're certainly in a lot of countries around the world. And they've got about 160, 170,000 agents now, maybe 180. And they grew by sharing part of the profit that would have went to the broker owner back with the agents and brokers that helped him grow. So if an office was profitable and an agent did a transaction, then some of that profit was shared with other people who recruited those agents. So that actually is a really a good model. But the problem or the fundamental flaw with their model is that it's dependent on the office being profitable. And a lot of offices aren't profitable. You're competing with every other physical office broker around the area. And brokerages tend to compete on lowering their what they call their caps and their splits, at least in the United States. And so for us, we said, if we could run a real estate brokerage without physical offices, and by 2009 here in the U.S., everybody's running around with their iPhone or their BlackBerry or whatever device. They've got some sort of high-speed internet in their pocket. They mainly had cable internet at home, and so could we, in fact, build a real estate brokerage that's not dependent on bricks and mortar and build a better, more predictable financial model for agents and brokers? And that was really the whole premise. The other piece was I always wanted to be an owner at the brokerages I was a part of. So I started at Prudential, which is now Berkshire Hathaway. And then I went to Keller Williams. And in both cases, I asked for equity. I was offered 1% ownership in the Keller Williams Market Center that I was a part of, but I represented over 35% of the business volume of the office. And so that didn't excite me. And so when we got the opportunity to start EXP in 2009, I started immediately trying to figure out how to share equity with our agents. And again, I'll say in the US, you're limited to the number of what we refer to as non-accredited shareholders, people who don't make more than $250,000 a year, which most agents don't make more than $250,000 a year. So we're limited to 30 people who could be shareholders in the company unless we became a public company. So that was actually one of the reasons why we became a public company in 2013, was to actually be able to share equity with agents and brokers for just doing the normal things that they do in the business, which is list and sell real estate. So that was really kind of the initial part. But now the vision, we're going to talk about in November, the fact that we've got a path to get to 500,000 agents in 5 years. So if you think about that, most of that's going to come internationally. By the way, today, and you guys would be the first to hear it, but India just went over 1,000 agents. You may already know that.
Yeah, so no one knows. I was about to announce it, this thing, but yes, I'm glad you did.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. So, Glenn, we have to cover 12 words. So I'm going to, sometimes, occasionally, I'm going to rush it. I'm sorry. So your dream was, basically what I can understand is from your talk right now, is you understood how real estate business worked. You understood how you want to make it work for you. But your dream was, how can you make it work for others? And that's why you started EXP Realty. But dream is not just enough. Yeah, you can dream that you want to do this. You can dream you want 500,000 agents, okay? But you have to have a burning desire, right, to do that. So I feel if you do not have a burning desire, dream is dream. Yeah, we can dream it. So what do you think about having a burning desire? What are the things you had that you had a burning desire to do certain things, and that's why you are here today?
I think everybody gets burning desires for different reasons. But usually there has to be some fundamental driver in your life, in my opinion, to make you want to succeed. And so one of the challenges, most innovation does not come from, we'll say, the upper class, those who are financially well off from a young age. And so, they don't have to work. And so, but being successful takes a lot of work. And so for me, I saw my dad go from sort of rags, single wide manufactured home, backed up to a railroad track. I mean, literally, we railroad trailer on a railroad track, to a large home in the lower mainland of British Columbia, Canada. And then he sold his company to Kellogg's, the cereal company. And then he proceeded over the next 4 years to lose millions of dollars in the oil and gas industry and effectively be broke again. And so I sort of recognized the three different parts, three different phases of sort of where you could be. And so I had that taste of financial success. And so for me, I wanted to bring that back to my children. I wanted to bring back that to my family because I had seen it and I knew it could be done because I saw it done. And so, a lot of times, once you've had it and it's taken away from you, that's actually a pretty good driver because it can be done. And so that became one of my big drivers for success. And so mindset first, absolutely. But then there's the aptitude part or the skill part. And so there's mindset and skill, and those two things have to go together. So I became a student of business from a very young age. So I, read books, I had mentors, I was involved in various different businesses, deliberately trying to learn the business because I was determined to be successful at something in life. Now, I didn't know exactly what it was. It changed a little bit over time. But once I found the thing that I was really good at, it became a natural, to actually grow. And so real estate, residential real estate, internet lead gen, working with buyers, generating leads, building teams, that became second nature to me. At 35, I got my real estate license. I'm 54 today. Next year, I'll be 20 years in the business. And so I had, by 35 years old, I'd learned enough skills that I could finally put them together to actually start to monetize them. And then by the time I was 42, when I started EXP, so 7 years later, I recognized many of the pain points that real estate professionals had because I had worked through that whole system. And so for me, it became kind of a natural because of just my internal drive and desire to do that. And by the way, if EXP had not have worked, obviously it did, but had it not have worked, I would have continued trying new things. Like for me, like the success of EXP is almost less important than being in and doing something interesting and meaniful. And obviously it still has to have an upside. Otherwise, it doesn't capture my attention. But there was definitely a drive, a desire to be able to help, set my kids and my family up for eventual, for success, so they could have the choices in life that they wanted to have at a later date.
Your story, seriously, so far what I've heard, is really, if you will, when we go through our dictionary of winners, you will see how it ties up. But now I'm going to bring my team one at a time. I'll introduce them and let them ask you one of the questions. The next person, I have friends with him for last 50 years. He's from my hometown. Wow, we have done so many crazy things together when we were 20s and 30s, and then last 4 years I've been in US. But Jasbir Singh Bhatia, this guy is an amazing, successful businessman. About 4 or 5 years ago when I went to India, he's in a restaurant business, hospitality business. And I went to India 4 or 5 years ago, and I saw him doing consulting to big like hotel projects and hospital projects. And I said, Jasbir, where did you learn this thing? It was amazing a person when they want to do something, what they can do. So I'm going to bring in Jasbir Bhatia, my friend for last 50 years. Jasbir, go for it.
Thank you, Jawahar. Hello, Glenn. It's a great day for me and as well as pleasureful moment for me to be here with you in this webinar. Actually, this is the first time I'm meeting you. So that's why I am just introducing myself, though Jawahar has told me many things about me. But just I am Jasbir Singh Bhatia, EXP agent in India, and I'm from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Sir, can I introduce myself as a Jawahar Dodani's downline? And as well as I am the biggest, I had the biggest team in India. As
Congratulations.
Just in 10 months. It is all due to my dial-on. Actually, I'm very thankful to my downline. It's a great and amazing people are joined with me. I am deep from my heart. I'm thankful to Mr. Sanatji, Mr. Sudhanshuji, Mr. Kumar Ahmed, and so on. They make me so big and they put me on the top. I'm very, very thankful to them. Glenn, I heard your wisdomful thoughts about dream and burning desire. Fully agree with you. Greatly, you have told many things about the dream and desire. But people around you, maybe your friends or maybe your relatives or maybe others, not agreed with you, must be showing some negative attitude and negative thoughts amongst you, must have put hurdles in your path of success, not only in the business success, but in your mind also. My question is, Glenn, how you handle such hurdles and different difficult situations in those days? How much positive you was in those times, and as well as what you think and what you want to say about positive attitude for those days and nowadays. We have to keep and we have to show the positive attitude. In what's your opinion?
Yeah, one of the fortunate situations for me when I grew up was we moved I think I moved 13 times as a kid. And so there was the challenging part of it is I didn't build strong long-term relationships with friends. The positive of it was I didn't, when I tried new things, there wasn't really anybody I was trying to impress. Like it was just for me. And so to some extent I was insulated at some level from some of the negativity that would come from maybe my personal sphere. So entrepreneurship was something that I pursued as just a passion. So I started numerous businesses, and I continue to move even when I became an adult quite a bit. Now, that being said, success doesn't come without some challenges along the way. I had I'm divorced as of 2011, and part of that had to do with the business. I had started a business that in 2009, 10, going into 11, was very small, wasn't making a lot of money. Quite frankly, my ex didn't think it was going to make it. She didn't want anything to do with it, and that created a lot of pressure. But I was still committed to building the business, and and fortunately, the business obviously worked out. She, through our relationship as a large shareholder, so she's taken care of financially very well. But for me, staying focused on the dream sometimes does mean that you end up making tough decisions. And it's not a decision that I recommend. It was a tough one, but it was still one that you'll go through. So success has a lot of challenges along the way. In 2017, I had a potential takeover of the company take place. Like I had some directors and executives that tried to take the company away from me, and I had to fight through that. And so, there's going to be, success and positivity doesn't mean that there aren't significant challenges along the way. And you have to be bigger than the challenges that are coming your way. One of the ways to thinking bigger solves a lot of challenges, because, I think one of the things that I always think about is that no matter what challenge you have, it's usually a challenge that if you solve a bigger challenge isn't a challenge anymore. So, if you think about the idea of, let's just say, make $100,000 a year, a lot of people, that's a lot of money. And they struggle to make $100,000 a year. But if instead they said, I want to build a business that makes $1 million a year, they're going to get the 100,000 by default. So, think about solving a bigger challenge than the challenge that's right in front of you. Most of our challenges are financial. I mean, that's just the nature of, how things work. So if you think about it from a financial perspective, take whatever financial challenge you're dealing with, add a 0 to it, and then solve that challenge. And in the way I look at it is that'll pull you through, and you'll pinch yourself every day you get up, because you'll go, how did I become so successful when my original goal was this, and now I'm here?
Thank you, Glenn. I think you have made the many things clear. I think positive attitude is almost for everybody. We have to keep the positive attitude always. Thank you very much.
The next person I'm going to introduce, wow, I've known her since November, December. And she's a young, attractive, beautiful, but those are the not only 2 qualities she has. She has multiple of qualities. And I have predicted, and I may be wrong, and who will I thank for this? Shashank. I was looking for some person. I said, Shashank, help me find some person. And the first person he introduced me was the person, and I am so glad, Shashank, thank you very, very much. But I have a prediction that in next 3 to 5 years, what you're going to see from Sadaf Khan is going to be amazing, amazing, amazing story. And she has done in every way possible to do the best. I have adopted her as my daughter. I love to adopt. When I like somebody, I love to adopt them as my daughters, if they are young enough. And everybody here is going to think I'm crazy. But I feel if she puts her mind to it, she can even one day become president. Now, president is not elected by public. It's selected by the cabinet and everything. So I feel she has the capability of even doing that. And she's going to talk about passion today. So help me welcome Sadaf Khan.
Thank you so much, sir. And Glenn, sir, I am really nervous today because I got this amazing opportunity because of Jawahar, sir. And I'm really honored today. And yes, one person today, I personally want to thank you, Shashank, sir. Thank you, sir, for introducing me to Jawahar, sir, and I begin my journey. Sir, I want to talk about passion, and I want to know about passion because EXP is one of the fastest growing company in the world. So there must be passion you should have. But some of the other ways, like my question is also related to Jasbir, sir. Like previously you have answered that every story, every success story is somewhere or the other related to failure. But many of the times we give our passion. Like if we see failures are coming, hurdles are coming, then we just give, okay. So what are the ways or what you believe, sir, that we should be passionate enough and that passion should keep us going because one day we can achieve it. So anything you want to recommend to all of us that we can follow that?
Well, passion is such a powerful catalyst to anything that you do. And I think passion comes from a combination of actually understanding what you do and how you impact people's lives, and understanding that most people aren't being positively influenced. And so when I think about what in sales, if you don't sell the best product, if you don't believe you sell the best product, then you're not going to be passionate. And so, if you think that your product is inferior to the competition, then you should probably go work for the competition. And yet at the same time, there's always ways, always differentiations between what your product and service is and what other products and services are. And so figuring out why your product and service is the best for the person you're talking to. And if it's not, being comfortable enough to let them know that and to share that maybe a different product or service is right for them will create an alignment that allows you to always be passionate because you're looking out for the other person's best interest. So, that was, early on I talked about, sort of self-interest versus other people's interests. And I think that at the end of the day, passion comes from helping others. It doesn't come from helping ourselves. But when we help others, by extension, we are in fact helping ourselves.
Thank you so much, sir. And this is going to be a life lesson. Thank you. And I'm honored to meet you virtually, sir. Thank you.
Oh, great to meet you as well.
The next person, wow. One of the reasons I think, Glenn, you are very successful is you have identified the right management around you. You've identified the people who are around you. I've known Jason, I've known Michael, I've known Brian. And that's the best thing. There was one time it was a Hertz car dealership or something. They were going down and somebody they brought in from outside a CEO and the company multiplied. And one of the reasons they asked the new CEO was, how do you able to do this? He said, hire the people under you, hire the people who are better than you. Okay? Hire the people who are better than you. So you have done that. I'm not saying they are better than you, don't get me wrong, but I think you will love that if they are better than you, right? So you hired Michael Valdez. Now Michael has already have experience to grow a company worldwide. He did with Sotheby's. And that is one of the best things you did last year. And guess what he did? In last quarter, last year, he introduced 5 countries. Since then, I think I've lost the count of 8 or 10 more countries. It's amazing. But what he did was one more thing amazing. And I am so grateful to that he found Shashank. I am so grateful. I am so happy and I've been working with Shashank since November. And he's one of the best he's only 31, 32 years old. I cannot even believe that. When I heard his age, I said, wow. He has done wonders. You just mentioned we crossed 1,000 agents. You just wait and see. 6, 12 months from now or 2 years from now. I am not going to say India is going to be one of the biggest agents, the biggest outside of US, but you will be surprised. And not only in just recruiting, we are now working, all my team, Shashank, we are working so hard for production because we know without production, we don't make our livelihood and we don't make our passive income. Everybody on here knows that. So we are working on it. We are a little slow, but we are working on it. So I want to bring in Shashank because Shashank is the best thing happened for India or EXP. And the word he's going to talk about is in your article. I was showing you there were a few words in your article. And one of the words Shashank is going to ask you that's in your article, it's in your brain. Shashank, welcome, please.
Thank you so much, Joe, for introducing me. I mean, thank you so much for your kind words. But one thing I must say, and what you mentioned, it's all about the team. It's all about the right set of people. And I can recall our first conversation after we have done our webinar, the first introduction webinar along with Michael Valdez, Megan Kelly, and you were there as a guest. And also there's one gentleman, Amit Goel. So all four of us were there, and it was the starting. And after that webinar, you called me, and I just wanted to share with everyone that this gentleman, Joe Dodani, said that I am going to be the largest, like having the largest team in India. This is my dream. Like, and these are the words of success, like dictionary of success we are talking about. You started with dreams, burning desire. You have dreamed, having a largest team. And today, guess what? You are, having the largest team in India. Second thing about the burning desire, because you have dreamed of it, you literally, having a desire to do it. You started looking, and I am like Glenn. I just wanted to inform you, like from the day one, Joe, he is working like at this age also, he's working 18 hours a day. He's committing more than his business in Arizona to India, and he found right set of people. Just BG was a kind of founding pillar for him, and I was interacting with each of the members, and I am truly honored to have this lovely family with me. And EXP is not about, I haven't seen any organization in this world. I work with MNCs, I work with, franchisee, and got one of the biggest franchisee in India also. And it's all about right set of people and about the family. Like Michael trusted me and he believed in me. And thanks to Jason and Glenn. So they believed in me that I can take a lead to start operations for EXP India. It's such a big decision for me, and I can say on my young shoulders. But yes, because of their leadership, their mentorship, I was able to, and with the help of you all leaders, like the big leaders, what we have today. So we able to reach, and I'm truly, truly honored today to have that 1,000 agents. So Glenn, I just wanted to mention about this commitment. I keep on reading, I keep on, viewing your all interviews. And the reason why we haven't interacted one-on-one so far, and I'm just, confronting in everyone. So I have literally, written a note in my diary that once I achieve the 1,000 agents or 100 transaction in India, I'm going to message Glenn that, we are here. So this is a kind of commitment I have done from myself. And Glenn, I really wanted to know from you, because you are committed to this company. Not only this company, you have just mentioned that there are some up and downs. There was some financial as well as the personal, because, most of the people failed because of personal crisis. So you just mentioned that you have faced a divorce in 2011. So I really, really wanted to hear from you and a kind of advice in terms of, commitment about yourself, with you, for your company, for your organization, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a real estate agent. So really wanted to hear from you.
Yeah. So, so I think the word was commitment. That's
Yes, absolutely.
So, I think you commit to whatever you're doing until you don't commit. And what I mean by that is that, when I bring on somebody onto the team, I back them 100% until they're no longer part of the team. And it's really there's very few things that are binary in life, but I think commitment is a very binary thing. You can't partially commit. You commit or you don't commit. And so for me, showing up every day, and there's days when it's maybe not the easiest to show up because, there's conflicting priorities, but you still are there 100%. I'm 100% committed to the success of EXP Realty. I'm 100% committed to growing the enterprise. And one of the ways that I show that commitment, so I think there's different ways that you show the commitment, but one of the ways that you show the commitment is so for me personally, I don't have any competing business interests. So I don't own any restaurants. I don't own any competing businesses. I don't have anything outside of EXP World Holdings as my entity. Now, I bought a couple of houses, got a car, got a boat. I've got some of that type of stuff. But for my business interests, 100% of my business interests are in EXP, and I think that's a really powerful sort of metaphor for there's a lot of business people who will be in business with this group over here, but then they'll have this thing over here, which they think is more exciting than this over here, and their mind share shifts. And so the way to solve that is to make sure that this thing over here is part of this thing over here, so that when I work on Success Magazine, when I work on Verbella, when I work on our Showcase IDX platform, when I work on our coaching platform that we're rolling out underneath Success, when I work on these things, I'm working in a way that's in alignment with everyone else, so it doesn't dilute my commitment to the overall organization. It's just a matter of where I'm focusing inside of the organization. So I think it's a really, there's a lot of people who do, and I see this happen all the time. They'll have 3 or 4 or 5 different companies with 3 or 4 or 5 different groups of people in those companies, and if one of them succeeds, then and one of them doesn't, well, the one that doesn't, is to some extent, sort of orphaned inside of the organization, when maybe they could be shifted, moved, and be part of the larger organization and win with everything that goes on. So I think that's one of the ways that I've committed to every agent and broker in the company who's also a shareholder, et cetera, is I focus on all of my business interests being inside of EXP.
Sure, Glenn, I mean, this is truly a word of wisdom. And as you mentioned, and there's a saying also, burn all your ships and conquer. So there's no point of either I'm all in or I'm not. So totally relate to that. And thank you so much, Glenn, for sharing with us. And I am truly honored to be a part of this discussion. And thank you, Dodani ji, for organizing this.
Wonderful,
thank you, everyone.
wonderful. So, the next person I'm going to bring in is the person why we have the 6 weeks MBA. There is no way I could have put this together. There was no way. This person, and I also did a little small mess up. He was supposed to come before Shashank, and I missed him. So I'm sorry, Rajesh ji, but this gentleman, and Sadaf talked about this gentleman in the beginning, Rajesh Agarwal, amazing, amazing, amazing personality. He has done wonders. The way I know he's kind of my coach, you can say, Glenn, but he's Dodani's world. He has helped me to launch. 6 weeks MBA, maximize business achievement. He has let me on. So there are certain other things we are doing together. We are also coming up with a book, When Different Minds Meet. We already have the content of the book. We already did that. It's going to be launched in about 6 weeks in India, in multiple languages. And it's between me, Sadaf, my inner circle, me, Rajesh Agarwal, Sadaf, and Jasbir. But let me introduce him. I don't have enough words for him, but let me bring in Rajesh Agarwal.
Thank you, Dodani ji. Glenn, first of all, thank you for giving your precious time. And Dodani ji has put some lovely words for me, but I must say I'm just a sharer and he is an executor. So he believes in action, and that is the reason it was possible that we're meeting today. Glenn, I have been working in the training and consultancy since last 28 years. And I have found that all successful people believe in goals. My topic is goal. My question is related to goals. And I have heard somewhere that if you want to design your 1 year, then focus on 1 month. And if you want to design your 1 month, then focus on 1 week. And if you wish to achieve your 1 week, then focus on 1 day. So Glenn, my question to you is, can I know specifically what daily goals you plan and achieve on day-to-day basis? This is a very important question for me to know from you. Thanks.
Yeah, so thanks for, goals is a really interesting one because, as you can probably tell, I've probably beat every goal that we had, if from a numeric standpoint in EXP. And I think it's because we focused differently on what we were doing than most people do when we think of goals. And so one of the things that we use really intently inside of EXP is what's called Net Promoter Score, or NPS. And it's the most important metric that you can measure, especially as you're scaling an organization with lots and lots of people. Most goal setting takes place sort of in a little bit of a vacuum, meaning that you're doing it without the data to sort of back up what you should do next. And so a goal might be, we want to grow 10,000 agents this month. Well, if that's the goal, then there's lots of different ways to get there, but they're not all the right ways to get there. We could go and buy a brokerage and we could get 10,000 agents. 50% of those agents didn't want to be part of a company that was bought. So they'll leave in the next 6 to 12 months. Another half of those won't engage, so that there'll be more of a training hassle. But we could hit the goal of 10,000 agents by buying a brokerage. By the way, we don't buy brokerages. You might know that. And it's because we want people here for the right reason. So, but if we ask the ultimate question, which is NPS, on a scale of 0 to 10, how likely would you refer a friend or colleague to join eXp Realty? And you give us a score between 0 and 10. 9s and 10s we call promoters, 7s and 8s passives, and 0 through 6s we call detractors. And then we ask the follow-up question, what most prompted you to give us that score? Inside of those answers is all the data that we need as a team to make the best brokerage on the planet. And so if you make the best brokerage on the planet, then guess what? Agents are going to come and join us. And so when we think about goal setting, we know that we're going to get to some number. When I mentioned 500,000 agents, 500,000 agents in 5 years, the 500,000 agents in 5 years is not predicated on us going out and recruiting 500,000 agents. It's predicated on us building an infrastructure that 500,000 agents want to join. And so it's a different way to sort of think about goal setting, but if you change the goals, a lot of times, sort of similar to what I was talking about, 10xing your financial goals, if you change the goals that you measure, a lot of times they'll create the outcome that you wanted to begin with. And so for us, that's the way I sort of think about goal setting. And that's what I look at every day. What's our NPS score? Where is it low? Where's it low? Where can we improve it? And how can I help?
Wonderful. Thank you, Glenn. I think it's precisely and calculated and completely process-based rather than just a goal setting. And I'm really honored that I got a chance to connect with you and hope to connect soon in the near future, Glenn. Over to Dodani ji.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next word, I think, is very critical in the success business, because everybody is scared whether my business will success, whether I've gone in my life 4 or 5 down in the last 20 years. I've gone to as much as not having money to put gas in my car, working 3 jobs, and after becoming millionaire 05 or 06. So this going back into the same area, expanding, this one word is very critical, and most successful people have overcome this. To bring that word, I'm going to bring a person who's a very successful real estate business he had in Pune. But the more I know him, and more I am impressed by him. But recently, he has come up with a program. We were facing, Glenn, a little bit of a production things in India, okay? And so he came up with a plan how to do 100 crore, which is and it'll be about $15-20 million business next 90 days, okay? How do you do that? How do you bring in 200 agents together? How do you tie up with this big builder group? And how do you create business? How do you create your livelihood? And he has come up with such an amazing plan. But I will invite Hiren Trivedi to ask that one question we are all afraid of. Hiren bhai.
Thank you, Dodani ji. All respectable person. Mr. Glenn, really happy to see you. First of all, I would like to invite you from all of us to India. Today is our best. We are Gujaratis in India, and we are fond of Navratri, Garba. So would like to invite you once, definitely come and celebrate success in India, and let's play Dandiya in Navratri.
Okay, sounds good.
And Glenn, I want to understand one word. Everybody's mind, every time, everybody knows how to deal with it, cross, but the word itself definitely matters. That is risk. I want to invite you. I want to invite all my friends here. Okay, next, sometime after 1, 2, 3, 5 years, we can plan to organize a EXP Con in India. So tell me how we can see the risk factor in business and how we can dream and take care of our care precautions about risk factor. What is your views on that?
Yeah, obviously there's risks is, it's a mixed thing. I mean, we wouldn't want to take our entire net worth and put it on a hand of blackjack. That would be crazy, right? But we may want to bet on ourselves that we can actually do something that we've never done before. And to some extent, for a lot of people, it's easier to do the former than to bet on themselves. They'd rather bet on a roll of a dice than to bet on themselves. And so, that's our, that's the stories that we tell ourselves. That's maybe the upbringing that we had. It's maybe the people that are surrounding us. They, to some extent, and ourselves included, sort of say that if we do this and we fail, that I'll look bad, nobody will respect me, whatever that is. By the way, nobody will care. Nobody cares. They actually would rather you fail than succeed in most cases, because if you succeed and they don't, then they look bad. So they have a vested interest in actually seeing you not succeed, because you're part of a level of income and affluence. And if you start to take off, then that starts to put pressure on them as, why am I not doing as well? So I think we have to sort of allow ourselves, give ourselves permission to try things and be okay if they don't work out. And when we can do that, then good things naturally start to happen.
Yes,
I've had a couple occasions in life where I've had true alignment. My thoughts, my deeds, the words that came out of my mouth, everything was aligned. And in those moments of alignment, there was zero opportunity for failure, because I had actually got rid of the risk inside myself first. And I was willing to be okay with whatever happened as a result. It turns out that when you've got that level of alignment, nobody can stand against you. Nothing, because normally we're hypnotized by the world, but when you're in alignment, we hypnotize the world. And so we actually create our own future outcomes. And so risk becomes something that we want to work out in our own mind first, but once we've worked it out, then it's actually not that risky to do it out in the open.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Amazing. Glenn,
Thank you.
I've heard a lot. Great. Thank you, Dodani. Over to you, please.
Thank you. Glenn, the next person, I don't know how to say, but he is number one in EXP. You are not going to believe this. In the FLA, first line agents, he's got over 150. Nobody has it.
Congratulations.
Nobody. Not only that, he's got 350 plus agents in his downline. He's my biggest right now. And I think he will continue to be biggest unless there are a couple of other challenges he has. We will talk about that person also. But I am surprised. I'm happy. I'm little bit kind of feeling, why am I not? I'm only 23. He's got 150 plus. I cannot believe. He is a ex-army man. He is one of the top YouTubers in India. and amazing. I'm bringing him outside of India, Glenn. Just wait and see what we do in US when he comes out. We are going to do great. There are a couple other people will talk. But let me introduce Sanat Thakur for your next question. Sanatji.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dodani sir. And thank you, Glenn, for, giving your wisdom and precious time. Sir, as you said, success has a lot of challenges. So my question is, how do you handle challenges, or which is the biggest challenge you face during building the EXP company? Thank you.
Yeah, so challenges, challenges are only challenges until they're not challenges. And once you've conquered a challenge, it turns out when you look back, a lot of times those challenges were more self-made and they weren't as big. Now, I think about, everything is figure-outable. So if you can identify the challenge that you're trying to solve, you've got tons of ways to solve that challenge. The challenge, the real challenge is identifying the challenge. We can all answer, like you guys are giving me a gift and to have asking the question. But if you ask the right question, the answer will appear. I believe that if we ask the right questions, we can espouse the answer, even if we don't know where that answer comes from, somewhere, our subconscious, our superconscious, whatever, it will bring out the answer. So I think part of solving challenges is asking the right questions so that you're solving the right challenges. So, big challenges, I talked about a couple of them, but, I think as you build something, you're going to have financial challenges, you're going to have marketing challenges, you're going to have personnel challenges, you're going to have priority challenges. And yet, if you break them down and you take those challenges and you actually identify them, how might I is a great way to solve things. How might I do this? Instead of saying, I don't have enough time, how might I multiply time? And then from that, you're going to get a list of answers. So you can go from being a victim, I don't have any time, to being somebody who's actually a bit more of an entrepreneur. And so how might I have more time? And then you'll have a number of answers that will naturally flow out of just asking the right questions. Well, I could delegate. I could say no more often. I could, there's all these answers, and all of those answers that come up probably will match up with some of the things that you're dealing with time. And so when you think about, one common challenge that people say, I don't have enough money. Well, then the other question is how might I have enough money? And start to say, well, I could borrow, I could work another job, I could sell something that I currently own so that I could have some money. So, or I could, there could be any number of ways to solve that. How might I? So I think challenges, when you redefine them as opportunities, they actually then self-solve themselves. And we all go through them, but then at some point we got to go, am I being a victim here? Or do I want to own the challenge and come up with solutions?
Thank you so much, sir. Challenges are opportunity. Thank you. Yes, good answer.
Thank you. The next person and is another person who is making me look good, very good, and that is Kumar Ahmed. Now, he is one of the best real estate trainers. He has done big training company in India. And he's also a big YouTuber. And he took a challenge from Shashank one time, a few months ago. And he said, I can recruit 100 people in one day. I think something like that, And he was able to do that. And now then he had, some personal things at home and everything. So he slowed down a little bit, but he's coming back big very soon. Sanat ji, wait and see. Aapki takkar mein aa rahe hain ji. So I would love for Kumar Ahmed and the Untitled Chapter who came here, to both of them really, really grow, not just in India, but globally. We are in 15 plus countries. Come on. We have Indians everywhere. Even if we just recruit Indian agents around the country, around the world, we are going to be the biggest in the world. So Kumar Ahmed, I've seen his training modules and everything. I've gone in how he does it, and is it amazing? And he's now partnering with somebody else who is going to come next. I think they are going to do huge. And I want to invite Kumar Ahmed to ask you a next question. And he's my another big dream.
Yeah, thank you, Dodani ji, and thank you, Gillen. And before asking a question, I have something in my mind I have to share. At my very earlier age, I am the very kind of person like those who are very poor in study. So my father always afraid about my future. So so in my mind, I used to afraid about my future because my father give me in legacy. So whenever I sit like this, today I saw and there is a continuous smile on my face just to see I am sitting with Dodani ji, Shashank, and he's the director of EXP, and Glenn. And for this, I'm seriously thank you for this, because that makes me feel like I am something. And thank you for core of my heart, because my daughter is here and I told her, hey, there is 11 people with a billionaire and I am one of them. She's and so thank you so much for this. Yeah. So Glenn, my question is, everybody talking about the courage, and I know it's a very big term is courage, and I know if I am stood at this stage and addressing thousands of people, I can talk on courage, but on myself, I afraid sometime. So what is the exact meaning of courage in business? I am not doing bungee jumping. I am not doing cycling. I am not doing Formula One racing. So, and we all know there is courage have a very big role in our business. So what is exact courage in business? And you're the best person I love to hear with.
Well, thank you for the question. We all have an affinity for winning, meaning that we all want to win. But I think a lot of people play not to lose. And the reason being is that the amount of, when we go out and we make a sale, we recruit an agent, we do something, that's obviously going to financially impact our future in a positive way. But what if they don't join? What if you don't make that sale? What if that, and you need to make an investment. You need to financially probably put gas in your car. You got to pay for some marketing. You've got to do something, and there's an investment. And that investment then becomes, normally, if the person doesn't join, or the person doesn't buy, then we perceive that as a loss. And so when we play not to lose, a lot of times we say, I don't want to invest the money because I don't want to lose it. And yet, if you start to think about, there's a book that was put out a couple of years ago called Thinking in Bets. And courage and risk they're kind of like kissing cousins. They're kind of very similar. So risk and courage, but courage can come from understanding the risk. If I know that I'm going to make, let's just say, if I have a 75% chance of making money on my next bet, whatever that is. It could be recruiting, going out for a sale or what have you, that I'm willing to invest some money in it if I know the percentage that I'm going to win. If I know that 75% of the time I'm going to double my money, then I know that I can invest a certain amount in that business. Now, would you invest 100% if you only had a 75% chance of winning? Probably not, but you'd probably be willing to risk 10% of sort of your financial benefit, the financial cost or whatever you, to potentially win 75% of the time. And you make that bet enough times, and now you've got a lot of money that you've won. But most of us don't quantify the percentage. Like when you go and visit with a potential agent, if you can figure out that 1 out of every 10 people that you sit down with will join EXP, and 1 of every 10 agents that join EXP is going to knock it out of the park, that means that 1 out of every 100 people that you talk to, I think that's the math, is going to be a superstar in your organization. And so if you think about it from that perspective, and you say, how much would I earn on that one person? That's not 1 out of 100. From growing the company, you might earn $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year, 2, 3, 4 years from now, from getting that one person. So if you understand the risks, a lot of times it becomes a lot easier to become courageous because you now understand, you can quantify the perceived cost, but you can also quantify the benefit that comes from every unit of effort or every investment of dollars. And so then you can sort of think about, so just to understand, that you're not going to win every opportunity. So you're always going to have to bring some level of willingness to not win on that particular time at bat, but recognizing that if the more times at bat, the more likely it is that you're going to win. So that's kind of my thoughts on courage.
Thank
you so much, Glenn. Thank you so much.
The next person is associated with Kumar Ahmed.
Dodani ji, Anurag bhai has got emergency. So he just leave this session 15 minutes. He just messaged me and apology and feeling the apology for this.
All right. Is he going to be back or is he going to be not coming back?
I don't know. He's just SMS me.
That's
there's
all right.
An emergency.
Yeah, we run out of time also. So, Kumarji, do you want to, Amit Kumarji, let me just talk about it and I will ask the question on behalf of him. The next person, I think he is one of the biggest, I think. At least I know in my team, who can build a big team. He has done with some other company. I'm not going to name the company. But if he gets 50% or 25% of what he has done with the company, with EXP, I'm telling you, Glenn, India is going to rock. Okay? I have great leaders like Sanat ji and Hiren Bhai and Rajesh ji and everybody. But this guy also is a crazy amazing. His name is Anurag Agarwal. And he was supposed to be here. He's got some emergency. But I think he will do great. And he's tying up hands with Kumar Ahmed. They're going to do it together. I think if they both tie hands together, I'm just thinking miracles are going to happen. But his question is on faith. And I saw your article also. You had something on faith in your article. Why we need to have faith? In what?
Yeah. So, well, faith is really believing in something before it comes into reality. And there's a lot of science around faith now. Like for years, in India, obviously, faith is a huge component, of meditation and other things that but now the science is backing it up. So if you believe that you're going to solve something, there's a gentleman named Rupert Sheldrake. I love his books. He wrote a book called Science Set Free. He's a Oxford professor, but he talks about the whole idea that when you visualize something in your mind's eye, that it actually affects the universe. And so faith is such a powerful tool in order to ultimately get to where you want to go. I don't know how the universe works. I mean, I'm not saying I know, but I've seen enough mysterious things to know that faith is real. And and if I believe that something's going to happen, and I visualize it, there will be confirming things that will show up in my universe that will actually allow me to actually make that happen. And so, again, I don't know how it all works, whether there's a whole bunch of universes, whether we're all in one universe together, if there's, different versions of ourselves, or there's just one me. But I do know that, faith has been a huge element in my success. First, I had to believe that I would be successful. And then I had to do the things necessary to prove to myself that I was going to be successful. There's a phrase in the Bible that's faith without works is dead. And what that basically means is you can say as much as you want about something coming to pass, but if you don't take action in the direction of your dreams, then your subconscious might not actually believe you. So, so faith needs to be backed up with action. And so it reinforces and proves to ourselves that we're serious about whatever it is that we've verbalized as what we want to do. So we can say, hey, I want to have a successful business, or I want to have a great relationship. But if we do nothing with it, then it's truly not faith. It's really a hollow statement. But if we truly believe it and we take action, faith will manifest in pretty interesting ways. So it's, faith and courage, those are two things that are kind of related as well, because it's the courage to actually do things in alignment with what you'd like and believe, and doing that will create some sort of ripple effect that ultimately brings about what it is that you're trying to do.
Talking about faith, I don't talk about religions in business and politics. These are the two things I try to stay away from it, okay? But I'm going to just bring it a little bit. I don't go to temples, I don't go to churches, but I believe in people who believe in God. I'm just going to talk 30 seconds on my mother. My mother passed away a couple of years ago, and she was the true believer, true faith in God. She was 83 years old. Doesn't matter what happens to her. She gets hurt, she cannot hear it, she cannot see it, her hand is broken, her leg is broken. She'll say, whatever God wants. Even when she had the best things happen to her, oh, this is grace of God. That was the total faith. And she was a wonderful human being. I'm going to show her a picture in a second. I'm going to show this. This is my mother. And amazing. I miss her. I really miss her very much. Now, the last two questions, I'm going to combine it. We're running short of time. We have gone over, but this was a great session, Glenn. I think you have done a big favor, because this is going to be shown on the 6 weeks MBA session Tuesday. Then I'm going to promote it heavily in India, because this is so much to learn from this session. The last two words are very critical, important to me, I think. Every word is important, starting from dream, burning desire, faith, all of those. But these two words are very, I think, critical. So I kept it for me at the end. One is Nike's slogan, just do it. Just do it. We talk about dreams, we talk about this, we talk about that. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm going to have 65,000 agents, starting with 100 agents, 25 agents, right? So, but what you did, you started with 25, you have 66,000, now you're going after 500,000. But what are you doing? You're just doing it. You're taking action. So that's one. My last is, which is my true person. All these words have applied to me. And that one is never quit. Because I have seen in last 20 years, I've gone through like this, up and down. And I would have given up. I could have given up. I did not. So I said, if only the people who are not successful, the only reason is because they quit before they got success. Okay? So if you never quit, you're going to get success no matter what. It could be relationships, it could be financial, it could be anything. So just do it and never quit. Let's end with this.
Do it now. I mentioned a little bit ago about being in alignment between my mind, my words, my deeds, and it was very unique because I literally would do the thing that would pop into my mind when I tried to solve a challenge. So I'd see something, an idea would pop in my mind, and I would just do it. And literally, it was literally mystical in the way things happen. I'll give you one example. I was in this peak state in 2013. Jason Gessing, myself, and a gentleman, another gentleman, I can't remember his name right now, but we were in San Diego. We were a public company. We just bought our public company shell. But I was having all these peak sort of experiences take place, and it was really unique. But I think this goes on all the time. It's just that this one was very, very clear for me. But I literally said, we talked about the fact that we weren't trading. I said, I'll solve it by tomorrow morning. And we're in San Diego. We were at an event, and at 7:30 at night, a name popped in my head, and I sent this guy an email at 7:30 at night, and I knew that I would have it solved by the next morning by emailing this one person. I didn't know this person very well, but I wrote him and just said, "Hey, we've got a public company." He says, "I want to and he wrote me back within like 15 minutes. I want to introduce you to a company, and turned out I wrote him. He's in Texas. He wrote me back. The company that would solve the challenge was literally 1 block away from where we were in San Diego. Didn't know the company existed. Didn't even know who the company was. At 9 a.m. the next morning, we were sitting in the office and we had it solved. And so doing it now means actually doing the thing that you know you should do, but a lot of times you're afraid to do because you're afraid of the outcome. And so doing it now will take you so far. Like when you have somebody that pops in your mind, I'll put it in the EXP term. When you have somebody that pops in your mind that you think would be great for EXP, instead of writing it down on a piece of paper or typing it into a CRM or whatever, calling them immediately when they hit your mind is going to be so much more powerful than if you wait. And so our minds are connected. We're quantum computers. We're connected to so much more than we even understand. But when we get those ideas, doing it now is actually part of that whatever that is working inside of us. And that will take us so many different places. Of course, never quit. That doesn't mean never pivot. Doesn't mean never learn. It just means that we're committed to playing this game all out our entire lives. So, a lot, and that's really, in my mind, is what never quit means. It's, there are actually good things to quit on, but playing the game full out is really, in my mind, and knowing that, no matter what challenges you deal with today, and some days are going to be challenging, some days are going to be a lot of flow, but no matter how challenging things get, as long as you show up. Of course, Brian Colhane, he and I known each other for years, but one of the reasons why I loved bringing him on as a team leader initially in Arizona was he had played college basketball. And I really like athletes, especially athletes that have got to a certain level, because for athletes, they showed up to every practice. Do you think there was a bunch of practices that they didn't want to show up for? Absolutely. But they showed up to every practice. And those people that show up to every practice, they're going to pick up something, they're going to exercise a muscle, they're going to learn something, and eventually the business or the thing that you're trying to do will eventually become easy. And then, then it's just a walk in the park. But you got to show up to every practice. And the difference between a white belt and a black belt in martial arts is a black belt just showed up to every practice.
Of course, of course. Now, I'm just going to end this meeting in 5 minutes, but let's have a great ending. I'm going to invite everybody for 30 to 45 seconds. Please talk about what you hear from Glenn, or just very briefly, and say what do you think about today's session. Sanatji, I will start with you.
Today's session was, very fruitful. I learned so many secrets from Mr. Glenn. I'm going to apply that. That's it. Thank you so much, Glenn, for being with us and, giving your precious time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amitji.
Glenn, thank you so much. And I seriously and honestly telling you, thought about your courage. I just wrote lots of book about courage and faith, and what your opinion. And it's entirely different, and that's makes a practical approach and the theoretical approach. I learned today, and thank you so much for this, because all the point you covered give the practical approach, and there is no theory behind this. And thank you for this. Seriously, thank you for this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Shashank, our leader, EXP India.
Yeah. So, Glenn, you are an inspiration, and I can say I admire you most because being a broker, I can relate the kind of pain points you have identified, and whatever you have said today, all the topics, all the words which we have covered, and you can actually implement it in our real-time business. And that is what we are seeing. And we are literally changing the life of these people. And we are not changing the life of these real estate agents. We are changing the life of these families, the next generations who are going to come. So I think, you have created a system which we all really appreciate. And I really, truly admire you. And thank you so much, Glenn, for your time today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hiren Bhai, what do you think?
Dodani ji, Sanat ji, Guru Govind dono khade kaku lagu pai wala baat hai abhi. What should I say? It's basically, I cannot express in words. Thank you so much, Glenn. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Now it's my inner circle. This is this inner circle. Glenn, you have Mike, you have Jason, and you have, other people in your inner circle. And these are my 3 circle in India. I have different people in US, but these are my 3 inner circle in India. I don't think without them, I would have been here today. So first I want to introduce Sadaf Khan. She is the future. She is the future for us. We all are older than her, so I'm sure she's our future. Sadaf, come on in.
Yes, sir. Sir, because I have achieved, I don't know what to say because I'm emotional. I'm lucky. Just 2 words. This is a lifetime moment for me, and this is one of the biggest achievement I can say that. And thank Glenn's. Thank you so much. I'm going to keep this moment with me forever. And thank you, Joseph. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bring in Jasbir Bhatia.
Yes, of course.
Yes,
thank you very much, Jawahar, and thank you so much, Glenn. Starting from dream to never to give up is a very great journey of the life. Any person in the life who want to be successful, he has to go through all these things, and very easy way, in easy word, you teach us how to implement it in the life and in the business. So very thankful. I am very thankful to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now the key, the leader, the coach, the motivator, Rajesh Agarwal. How are you? Come on in, Rajesh ji.
Thank you. Dodani ji, first of all, kudos to you. This was your initiative and this has happened today. So congratulations and thank you. And now, Glenn, It was transformational. It was full of knowledge. But personally, for me, these 90 minutes were just like reading 100 books. So thank you for enlightening us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Glenn, you know, you heard from everybody what you did for us today, what you did for India today, and even people outside of India. I think you gave me a opportunity, you gave me a platform to come out of my shell. Maybe I'm trying to do everything I can. And I'm 66 years old. I'm older than every one of you. And I have a dream. I have other dreams. One of the things I want to ask my mother is nobody in India have mother as a middle name. I've just added my mother's middle name, Jawahar Sushila Bhagwan Das Dodani, and I'm changing my passport also. So I think it is amazing journey with EXP. I think we have a lot of more years, great years coming. This 500,000 agents, please friends, listen to this. 500,000 agents. We want to have at least 20% in India. At least 20%, please. Let's do it. If we cannot have 20, we can have more, but at least let's target for 20%. Okay? Glenn, I will let you end at this. Thank you very, very much. You end it now.
Well, thank you, Joe. Thank you, everyone. This was a special day on multiple accounts. Thank you for having me on here. So that was an honor. And the fact that in 10 months, India has now grown to over 1,000 agents. It took us EXP from inception, starting with 25 agents. It took us until 2016 to actually have over 1,000 agents. So that's so that was 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So over 6 years to get to 1,000 agents, and you've already done that in 10 months. So I can only imagine how exciting. Obviously, with all that excitement comes a lot of work to actually make sure that our systems don't break, which I'm not sure. They're probably half broken just from all the growth so far. But those of you who will stick with it through the growth phase will be rewarded beyond your wildest imaginations. And so recognize that the leaders that you are, you're probably going to have to go back and really just review the words from time to time, because growing something as fast as it's growing in India is going to take it's going to take a lot of effort from a lot of people, probably everybody here and probably everybody with EXP to date, to just make sure that the wheels don't come off the wagon while we continue to crank and grow. So thank you everyone for being part of EXP. Thank you for the honor of being here.
Glenn, actually I want to say something. Apart than this entire subject, my greatest achievement today is to meet you. I am thankful to Jawahar Dodani to give me the opportunity for such a great webinar and meeting you too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
And Dodani ji, so I am just wanted to say something, the last word from my side for this session. So as Glenn just mentioned, and Glenn, as I mentioned, there are so many mentors to me, and I always believe to learn. And learning is earning, like what Rajesh also mentioned in all these coaching sessions. And I am truly honored to have these lovely teams, lovely leaders with us. And all of them, each of them has played a crucial role in our success. And I can remember when we started the operations in India, and Michael asked me, like, what should be the number? And I remember the word I said to him, like, counting always start from 1, and I'm the 1 for you. And this 1, you will keep on adding the zeros. I remember the 100, I remember the 500, now we are 1,000, and now we are going to 5,000 and then 10,000. And India is a huge country. We are 1/7 of the world's population, and opportunities are endless. And as we covered today in all the sessions, all the words what we have discussed today, I think if someone is going to implement, those who are going to listen this webinar, if they are going to implement these words and the wisdom shared by not other than, our true visionary leader, Glenn. So I think if they are able to implement 30 to 40% in their life, they can be a leader in their particular markets. So thank you so much, Glenn, for sharing your thoughts, your vision, your ideas, and with all the leaders. And we are really, really grateful to have your presence in today's session. Thank you so much. And thank you, Dodani and the team, for organizing this session for all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Glenn.
everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for giving us so much time. Now go have a lunch, Glenn.
I will. That's the plan. Okay. See you later. Bye-bye.